Welcome to War Games, hosted by the sales genius Joe Ingram. If you're looking to win the sales battle, then you have joined the right team. In the War Games group, we devise strategies for sales, marketing, branding, mindset, and attitude. We enlist the assistance from the most successful producers across all industries. We then share their knowledge and techniques with you. Our single goal is to get you ready for your next sales opportunity. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that have crossed before you. Now, prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for the War Games to begin.
How we play these games.
Happy Wednesday, War Gamers. Joe Ingram, your host. Today, a subject very near and dear to my heart, and one of those people that you meet online, right? And still haven't met in person, but was lucky enough to meet Manuj through Steve Sims because we have a great sense of humor, and through many of our pandemic happy hours, got to know each other and go through, and then we reconnected again. But what you're going to be lucky enough to hear from Manuj, let me explain a little bit about him, okay? He is one of those individuals that is driving AI, okay, in our world today. And he helps startups. He's really, really good with AI, and he has impacted over 10 million people worldwide with what he has created and generating, $500 million worth of value put out into the world. So the guy's getting talked about, right? The software and the things he puts together are Obama's mentioning him. Bill Gates is mentioning him. I'm going to add Mark Rodriguez up to the screen as well. Mark's going to be joining us. But as you look at this, guys, he's got a portfolio for patented AI innovations. Okay, so he is just absolutely brilliant. He understands the game of business, sales, and artificial intelligence. So he needs to be the best friend for every person who watches this, whether it's replay or it's live today. So I'm going to bring him up right now. Manuj, how are you?
Good.
Games.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of hype built up. I don't know whether I'll live up to it, but thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So, and thank you so much for carving out some time, because I do know how busy you are. And,
Absolutely.
You're out there revolutionizing the world. So we know that. One of the things that, like, Mark and I both have this quest to get artificial intelligence into the automotive space. And how do we do that? We've already got several products that are moving into that space. And so, to me, first question I want to ask before you jump in and tell us how we can revolutionize everything, increase our revenue, our confidence, our business strategy, customer satisfaction, employee morale, all that can be done through AI that you've demonstrated. So it's not I think it could be, right? But in looking at this, do you see this doom and gloom associated to AI the way the world is putting it out? Or do we see it's going to force people to level up in other areas?
See, what happens is, this is not a new phenomena. Every time a new technology is introduced, revolutionary technology is introduced, humans have a tendency to fear it or create these kind of environment where people start to doubt it. This has happened with anything from 5G to when the car was introduced or when the printing press was invented. So this is nothing new. The idea is that humans are always afraid of the unknown, and we always want to be comfortable with what we are used to. Right now, AI is going to change the paradigms of how we live and how we think what work is, and how we do business. And that's a it's going to be a huge radical change. And if people want to understand this technology is not new. The change is already underway. We have been living with AI for the past 10, 20 years. And now the idea is that it has been democratized. People in the know who have the expertise and who have used AI for the past 20, 30 years, they are some of the most powerful and richest people in the planet on the planet now, right? You can name any rich person. Jeff Bezos, Amazon is all about AI. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook is all about AI. Elon Musk, Tesla is all about data and AI. It's actually Tesla is not a car company. It's actually a data company. Same with SpaceX, all that. So all of these people realized the power of AI and leveraged it, but now it is becoming democratized and everybody can use it. And in this situation, a lot of fear, a lot of sort of confusion happens. That's a natural phenomena. But the idea is that if people are courageous enough to overcome that fear and ignore it and dive into it, people who take advantage of this wave early on, they will tremendously benefit from it. And we can go deeper into it, because anybody who's an early adopter of such a large technology wave, they generally come out very, very strong, and it's very beneficial to them. Maybe even in 3 years, 5 years time, a very short period of time, people who embrace AI will be much, much further ahead in whatever they are trying to do.
No, fantastic. And again, like I said, Mark and I are really jumping in on everything we can possibly jump in on. So we play in the sales game for automotive. So we train sales dealerships and the owners and all of their managers and how to become better, how to get in there. My first search, Chat GPT, when I got it, was how do I implement AI into the automotive space? And I was on a call with Mark.
Yes, yes.
So we were both going, well, at least let the AI tell us what to do.
Exactly.
But you being out in the forefront, you being part of this for so long, like one of the tools we found, the person's like, well, I've had clients on my tool for 4 years.
Yes.
And I'm over here going, really? I've only had Chat GPT for a couple months now. That comes up. Lynn, how are you? And so Brian Galke, which you have met before, right? He said it's a good thing he wasn't on today because there'd be too many bald beauties. So he's out driving. My question is this: how does someone who is, let's say, we're not a multi-million-dollar conglomerate, right? We are an individual that is more of I'm a solopreneur than I am an entrepreneur, right? I'm still very dependent on it. How is it that we can utilize AI for us to get our businesses going, or how to help us?
Of course. So you see, one thing is that let's break down what business is all about, right? Business is all about people. And whether those are your employees, whether those are your customers, whether those are your partners, suppliers, what have you. And in any industry, from automotive to technology to real estate, it's all about people. And what happens is, in most cases, we as entrepreneurs, we have certain skills. We know, okay, I'm good at sales or I'm good at technology and I can build a business. But building a business needs multiple skill sets. I need to know sales, I need to know accounting, I need to know marketing, I need to know finance. And typically what happens is, when we are just growing as a solopreneur, we don't have a star team surrounding us, fulfilling all these duties and filling in the gaps in our skill sets. So we tend to do an average job at everything. So let's say I'm really good at technology, I'm working alone, I'm going to do an average job at technology because my mind is now taking care of marketing and sales and all of that stuff now. But let's say I am given an opportunity to hire a super intelligent person who has a Harvard level education in medicine, in law, in business, in history, in every possible field of study that you can imagine. This person has a degree and PhD in that, and this person comes to you as an employee for free, never takes a day off, 24/7 available. What do you think you will be able to do with that kind of a team around you, right? So
It'd be phenomenal for one, if
Exactly.
I knew how to utilize that skill set. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are now getting there. Now, so you have this employee now, and the next question becomes, okay. So this is what AI is. This is a super intelligent human being available to you, ready to answer any question. And you said a very very good thing here, where you said that we will ask AI to help us understand how we can use AI, because at the end of the day, this is a super intelligent person who can answer any questions about the world, about ourselves, and about itself as well. So what I tell people is, start to use AI and get better at two things. One is ask better questions, because if you are not good at asking good questions, you are going to get garbage answers. And this happens in real life as well as with technology, with anything. Like, even when as a parent I'm talking to my sons, if I ask a stupid question, I get a rude answer. So so the idea is that uh, uh, we we in this current education system, we are not taught how to ask those questions, right? We are only taught, okay, the teacher is going to give you the questions, you have to come up with the right answer. And the fact of life is, we need to be teaching ourselves how to ask those questions. And so when you interact with ChatGPT, you can say, hey, I'm in an automotive sector and this is what I'm doing, this is my business. Tell me how I can incorporate AI into my business. And then you can start asking questions about your employees. You can start asking questions about your prospective clients, and you can say, okay, I have a dealership in Brampton or wherever in New York, in this suburb, and the average income of people is this much, and blah blah blah. Tell me what kind of cars will they buy, tell me what kind of value added services they will prefer. Now, this level of information and insight you could only get earlier by talking to hundreds of people or hiring a marketing research company or what have you. But now you have this at your fingertips, right? And then you can, as you start to interact with the AI and ask these insightful questions, what happens is your mind starts to expand, and you start to get these very valuable and deep insights, that now your mind starts to put more things together. The light bulbs start to go off, and you say, okay, this is really great, I didn't know that, so now let me take the next step. Hey, AI, give me a complete overhaul strategy on how I can implement all this, and then give me a tactical step by step process. What do I need to do on daily basis to implement that strategy? All of this is available to you, and now all you need to do is, like, get this information and take action to bring in the results. Now, the second thing that I ask people is that clear so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So one thing that popped up was Assad came in and said, how reliable is the information?
Okay, I'll speak to that in a minute.
Sure.
The second thing, what people need to start using it for, to tell better stories. And the reason is because, as I said earlier, business is all about humans and the relationship that exists between humans, and those relationships are formed when we communicate in a way that resonates with other human beings. So now, a little bit of a history lesson here. Humans evolved over 200,000 years on this planet. Okay, writing was invented about 7,000 years ago. Before that, there was no writing. Before that, all the information used to be passed from generation to generation through storytelling.
Yeah.
Right.
Mark
So
remembers that.
yeah. So we used to teach our kids how to hunt for food, how to find shelter through storytelling. So that is embedded in our mind, that stories are the thing that carries the information and we remember them. So, and again, in the current day and age, we have not been taught how to tell better stories. And so now you can go to ChatGPT and give it any situation. You can give it a sales situation, you can give it a personal situation, and you can say, okay, give me a very detailed, very very detailed and emotion evoking story, something that evokes emotions in people. And when you start to tell those stories, when you start to share those stories, you'll immediately realize how better of a communicator you have become, how you become a magnet of people just want to talk to you, or people remember you, or people, you know, like you can do this experiment even in your own family with your friends or family. Like, if you want to connect better with a friend, rather than just talking about what you talk about, share a story. I was listening to this podcast, and I remembered this feeling that I had. We went on this picnic together. Whatever that story is, when you start talking in stories, people connect very, very well, right? So if you start getting better at these two things, new avenues of thought processes will open up, and you will start to get so much better at connecting with people. Amazing things will start to happen, is what I'm saying. And this will not take too long. Maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in 10 days, 15 days, you'll start to see the impact of this. So that's one thing. Does that answer the question? And I'll move on to the next question of how reliable is the
Yes.
information.
So Assad also threw out there that he uses it. It's a great copywriting tool, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
it fixes all of my errors and changes it. But no, I loved the part of emotion evoking. Then you can probably go in and say, I want it to be, evoke this emotion
Exactly.
throughout the thing and let it go through and do it for you. That's great. So
Exactly.
the first thing you said we had to do is ask better questions. Is
Yeah.
the second thing tell better stories?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so perfect. So now I know how I'm going to master it and going through. Because
Yeah.
Mark and I send prompts to each other all day long, and then we test it on his side. He's in New York. I'm on the West Coast, California. So then we check to see if ChatGPT or any of the other ones are going to give us the same stories.
Yes.
Manuj, in the very beginning, when Joe and I were looking at this, one of the first conclusions we drew right away was the power of OpenAI wasn't so much the output; it was the prompt.
Yes.
And the better you could become at engineering, or even reverse engineering the prompt, the better your output. And you're right. It forced you to think in ways that we're not used to thinking.
Exactly.
It forces you to think instead of if you think of a camera, telephoto lens, right? Was that wide lens, right?
Exactly.
It really it forces you to really begin with the end in mind and work backward.
Absolutely.
And so Joe and I went back and forth with that, and we just started working on crafting better and better prompts.
Absolutely.
And listen, I'm East Coast, he's West Coast. I would call him at 6 a.m. in the morning his time. He's like, dude,
I'm not reviewing prompts with somebody from bed. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see that, like, even in science fiction movies, we saw all these powerful and intelligent robots helping humanity, right? But if you don't know how to ask them to do certain things, they are just gonna sit there. Like, in Star Wars movies, R2D2, like, they are not autonomous. You have to tell them what to do, and then they will do it, right? So that's asking the right question. That's prompt engineering, right? So and then the other thing with ChatGPT is that I highly recommend people personalize the prompts, not just use the prompts that other people have written, because what you want to do is you want to reflect your personality in everything that you put out there, because each individual is unique. Each individual brings a different background, different life experience. So and AI is like a chameleon. It can take on any form. It can take on like personality. So if you personalize the prompts, that has even deeper impact. And so the next question is how accurate the information is. You see, first of all, the information is limited to September 21, and that is being fixed. In few months, I believe that it's going to be like all up to date. But at the same time, it is only using the information that humans have produced. And as we know, Humans ourselves, we are not honest all the time. We make up stuff all the time, right? Even in our daily lives, I'm sure anybody listening, me, you, at some point in our conversation with somebody, we did not have all the correct information. We just filled the gap with something we made up, right? So
Right.
that's exactly what AI is doing. 95% of the time it will be accurate, but 5% of the time it's going to just fill in the gap. It's like just hallucinate, right? So what I tell people is, if it is a low stakes game where you're just writing it using it to write an email or something along those lines, it's not a big deal. You can just take the input and double check it, and then, but let's say if you're using it to create a legal case, or create
A
something that
binding
is
document. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, that is high stakes, then you have to do your due diligence. You cannot just like trust that AI is going to give you this output. And in fact, I read a news article about somebody using ChatGPT to file a legal case against airlines, and ChatGPT just made up all the stuff, like it was not true, and the judge threw it out because it was just based on false information. So you have to do your due diligence. At the same time, we are in a very, very early stage of this technology. So slowly and steadily, everything will start to become more factually correct, and things of that nature. But today, you should use discretion and understand how important the work that you're doing is, how much what are the stakes, and then based on that, you can fact check it before you share that information with anybody else.
Yeah. Before you put your name on it as yours. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So I do have a personal question for me,
Yes.
because that's why I have a show, so I can ask. So Manuj, what are like your top 3 favorite AI tools that you're using, right, in your business, where we can
Yeah.
look and say, because a lot of times, like for me, the reason I sit down and I'm so intrigued by AI is I don't know what it can do
Mhm.
that I could get done for me. Does
Yes,
that
yes,
make
yes.
sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. See, so the first is ChatGPT. Like because I am in technology, I know what happens in technology is that as the gold rush starts, there is a so many tools that come out, and then as quickly they come out, similar with the similar speed, they just fizzle out as well. So I try to look for things which are more stable, more popular, and more scalable. So obviously, ChatGPT is one. If you're doing graphics, then Midjourney is great one, like for graphics. And then there is a new tool which is called Chat with PDF, Chat PDF, chatpdf.com. So with ChatGPT, what happens is, like, it is really good at answering questions. But let's say if I have some documents that, so I read a lot of books and things of that nature, and takes a lot of time reading books. So what I wanted to do was, okay, what if I can upload a PDF, long PDF into AI, and then have it learn it, and then explain it to me in like 5 minutes, and that saves a lot of
Wow.
time. So with Chat PDF, I can upload like a 200-page document, and then I can say, okay, learn this, and then I can ask specific questions, and then it'll give me those specific questions. And not only that, like, and I will recommend people take caution in this. I tried it, and I'll share it with you. I uploaded a financial statement from my bank into Chat PDF, and because these are public platforms, so be careful. Don't just upload all your company documents in there. But just as an experiment, I said, "You are now my CFO. Understand this financial statement and give me advice as a CFO will. Give me my budget, give me ways to save money, give me ways to make money, and give me like really good advice." And I'm not a finance guy. I'm terrible at numbers. And so now I have a fully qualified CFO sitting with me,
Right.
giving me advice. And so these tools are really, really powerful, and can make a real big difference in your business right away.
I used Chat GPT the other day, and I was teasing myself with it. And so I'm looking at it to say, how can I integrate Zapier so it can go do things, kind of stuff. And so I said, write me instructions on how to implement or how to utilize Zapier with ChatGPT, right? But phrase it as such you're explaining to a 5-year-old. Okay, so then as I'm going through, it tells me Zapier is like casting a spell.
Yeah.
So you want to type in, and I'm reading this whole thing at the end, and I'm like, I started laughing. It's like, and poof, it's magic. This happened, and I was like, wow, that was great that it just came up with all that stuff. So what are things that people could offload to AI? Right, like you were saying, like write me an email reply or something. Like there's extensions you can add to your browser where you can just click the button and do that. And if anybody needs help, call me. So, but my question is, what could I sit back and look for? Like, I love the advice from the CFO. That's fantastic. I love that one. But as the paradigm shifts, what is it that we need to be looking for?
See, in my opinion, anything that needs physical effort, like, I need to pick up something from here and put it there, only those things will not be suitable for AI. Even those will be sort of, there are humanoid robots coming which will solve those problems. But anything that needs cognitive sort of power, you need to think about new ideas, you need to exchange ideas with anybody, anything that is happening in your mind, that you can definitely offload to AI. And the other thing is, I want people to start getting into the habit of, as soon as they have a question, you can say, oh, this question can be answered by AI. So this very question can be input into AI, and then get into a conversation. Get into conversation in the sense that, don't just take the first answer at its face value and say, no, I find some holes in it. Explain it to me better. And then you can ask AI to say, these are my opinions. Find some blind spots that I'm not seeing here. So you can ask it to correct your opinion. But any question that you can come up with, by default, I want people to get into the habit, just like just like kids are in the habit of asking their questions, like their parents or teachers, because they know that anything in this world can be sort of tackled by the adults. So they are worryless. If you look at kids, they are worryless. So you become more playful with that and become worryless, that, hey, anything that I need in terms of ideas, in terms of answers, AI can give it to me. And then like, it becomes your companion in a way.
No, I like that, because I've heard it multiple times, but when, like you said, you're having a conversation, but the fact that you said on all the prompts, because I'm guilty of it, right? I'll take a screenshot, then I'll use iPhone's technology to grab the text, then email it to myself so I can put the prompt in. But you're right. It's, how do I personalize it to me? Like, I had written chapters of a book, and then I went in and told it, I want you to ghostwrite for me in my voice. What do you need? And it was give me the chapter title and give me examples of your writing. And I put it in, and then it wrote the next one as if it was me. And I read it, and I was like, wow, I'll tweak a couple things, but you pretty much hit it. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing is, I will not like get so obsessed about copying and preserving prompts, because the thing is, this is a ever evolving technology, and we are also ever evolving human beings. Right. What our situation is today, it will not be the same in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So once you start getting better at using this, is just think of it as another human being in your life. So we don't remember, okay, when I was talking to my son or my girlfriend, if I said this, I got a good response, so let me save that and let me remember that, because I want to say that over and over again. You just get a feeling, okay, how do I interact with that person, that we have a very good conversation. And once you get into that mode, you don't need to remember prompts. You just go with the flow. Of course, I'm not saying, like, if you have a long prompt or you want to tweak it, save it, but there's no need to get obsessed with saving all the prompt, because now the next problem becomes, oh, which prompt did I use last time? I can't remember, right?
Right. And then that's going to cause you to say, when I remember, I'll come back, and then you won't
Yeah,
utilize the tool, and then
yeah, exactly,
you'll be gone.
exactly.
That goes from there. So no, that's fantastic. I appreciate you on that one. So I'm getting text ones as well. So can it help you with writing ads to be more effective?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I will again say to people, try not to use AI as a technology, but as again as a human being. And you are a human being, and you are targeting human beings. So don't just say write an ad to sell automobiles. Say, I am 40 years old. I have been in this industry for 20 years. I live in New York. This is the way I talk. I'm trying to sell a high performance car or luxury car to like a successful business owner, and their age is around 50 years old. Their concerns are they need a high performance car, but which is also suitable for their family or something. So when you say all these things, now you tell AI to create an ad, it will be really targeted, really sharp. It'll hit the nail on the head. But if you just say generically, okay, give me an ad to sell vehicles, it's going to be not as sharp.
Perfect. Okay, so another one came in. Assad's excited about the subject too. So, looking at, there's many companies promoting chat bots that are run by AI. What should an automotive dealer look out for with all these companies hitting them?
See, so with chatbots, people really need to realize that the conversation flow needs to be very smooth and personalized. So it typically before last year, chatbots were more about, like, just like if and then, if they use a certain keyword, then add this text. If they show this emotion, like, there was a very limited understanding on the computer's part to understand what the customer is saying.
Right.
It's still it's not perfect even with ChatGPT, because realizing the real emotion of the person in real time and responding, it's not an easy task. So my in my opinion, this technology will get better and better. But what I can say is, if you want to use chatbot, just make sure the conversation flow is really smooth, it's quick, it's contextual, and it's highly personalized.
Absolutely. So, like, for example, Mark and I, we broker a product that is AI over the phone for dealerships, for appointment setting and things like that. And to us, it's revolutionary that for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays, somebody could call in and schedule an appointment to get their car in. Right. And it comes up, and it is getting better. We heard it bad, and then we heard it get better as it goes through. Right. And so one of the tips Mark just threw out here was make sure you ask OpenAI to create tables. So when it produces the output is very easy to read. And so if you go, give me the differences between this and this, put it in a table, now it becomes something much easier to go, oh, positive, negative, right? And neutral points all come out the same way.
Yeah. So, not only that, like, it can create graphs and things like that. And this technology is just the beginning. Those of us who are old enough to remember, like, when the internet was just starting out in 1990s, early 90s, the first few websites were, like, really kind of useless, like, just plain text with some images. Even then, it was revolutionary, like, people were sharing information. So now, we can log into our bank, we can visit a doctor, we are having this conversation on a website. So you can imagine, in a few years, that's how much of a difference it will be. Like, AI will be literally be able to give you much more detailed and formatted and multi-dimensional or multimedia type of output. Even like custom videos, it will be able to do.
No, that's fantastic. I love that. So JR said it's an amazing show content. We're giving you the credit for that one, Manuj, not me. Right. And then Bob Donnell is here too, so he said it's amazing. Mark doesn't recommend OpenAI as a online dating assistant. Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Well, actually,
You can tell stories, Mark. You can tell stories in your dating profile.
I actually used it, and it worked. It worked out nicely because you can add. I mean, again, you can use it to optimize your dating profile first of all. But then when you get a response, you can paste that response and say, okay, write a response for this in a witty way or something personalized. It actually really works.
Because Mark's speaking from experience. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Well, I always think like all of your NLP trainers, right? They go in there, like my buddy Michael Stevenson, he's a big NLP mastery guy and stuff. So he wrote his profile to get the perfect woman that he wanted, and he got her, right? And so why not use technology to get through this?
Exactly.
Well, so Joe, what I'm referencing there is if you're having the conversation and you're taking what the other person says and dropping it in, and now it's responding as you. When you meet this person face to face, if you can't articulate the way AI is, you will be found out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you just put the phone under the table, and when they ask you something, you type it in. Right? You go, I have a disorder where it takes me time to think, so I just need you to know that.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Assad threw it up there. It just came in right after Mark said it. What happens when you go on a date without GPT? Who has to go without? Guys, there's an app now.
Yeah.
They put out the little app, the little white app right there, and that thing's so fast. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think eventually we will just stop talking to each other, and our AI will talk to other person's AI, and then do the work.
It's true. It's going to make it easier for us. Yes. Yeah. So perfect. I am over time with you, Manuj. I do appreciate everything you shared with us. I put the link down below, the s.manuj.biz. So if you go to that one, you can see he's got his business growth backed by data and AI. He's got a consultation call. He has a community of leaders that are ambitious, right? And he has a podcast too as well, right? Bootstrapping Your Dreams.
Yes.
That's it.
Manuj, thank you for your time. I suggest
everybody jump over to on the screen. For those of you on YouTube that are watching, I already put the link in there for you. And on LinkedIn, you guys have that as well.
Joe, thank you for having me on, brother.
No, I appreciate you, Mark.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you. So thank you so much. I do appreciate you, Manuj. You've been amazingly valuable for us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody, get out there and sell.